Good afternoon. My name is Edgar Calcanas, and the presentation that I have for you today is a performance analysis of delay-tolerant networking. So I'll begin by first explaining the project objective, and the goal for this research was to develop a more efficient way of carrying messages in a less established network environment. Now, what I mean by less established network environment, I mean rural areas that don't have an internet infrastructure. And what some places have done, they use this method called the byte-wallah, where the byte-wallah travels back and forth from a rural village to an urban city where there is an internet infrastructure. And as you can see in the visual there, it kind of you get the basic idea. And this byte-wallah actually delivers messages into the internet, and it provides some level of internet access to the people that are living in these rural villages. Now, this research that was done can definitely it's important because it benefits those people that live in these rural villages, and it'll provide a more efficient way of routing the messages into the internet for them and provide a better level of internet access. So in order to achieve this goal, the first things that we needed to do was to identify the performance parameters, which I'll explain in a few slides, develop the routing algorithms or the methods by which the messages will be carried, and simulate and analyze the performance of each algorithm. So the project steps were, there was a development of the routing algorithms. There were a total of 4 that were produced. They were implemented into the opportunistic network environment simulator, or the one simulator software. And once they were simulated, the performance parameters that we were interested in were the message delivery ratio, or the number of messages that were actually being delivered, the average latency, how long it took a message to reach its destination, and the average number of duplicate messages, or the number of unnecessary copies that were made before the message was delivered. In this network environment, messages are always being duplicated and forwarded in order to increase their chances of delivery, and which is why we wanted to look at how many average number of duplicates were being produced in each simulation. So out of the 4 routing algorithms that were produced, we classified 2 of them as being more conservatives. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to go into too much detail as to how these routing algorithms function, but if you want to know more, please come see me in room 160. I can provide more details to how these routing algorithms function. So out of the 2 that were produced, or 2 of the 4 that were produced, we classified them as being more conservatives, and those conservative algorithms ended up having the better performance. As you can see in the in the message delivery ratio, they had a very high message delivery ratio, which means that most of the messages that were being created were actually being delivered. And in terms of the average number of duplicate messages, they had a very low, which kind of references the message delivery ratio and why there was such a good performance in the message delivery ratio. And also, what I take from this project was I really had to learn how to prioritize certain tasks in order to achieve or to stay focused. And I have a more in-depth knowledge as to how these new networking protocols work. And the research and methodology and the simulation analysis that was done was all a new experience for me, and I really enjoyed that. Learning this simulation tool, the one simulator, was a pretty complex simulation software to learn, and I actually know how to use it now. And also I learned that research itself is a long-term process, and it can actually be endless. So some concluding remarks is this year I was selected to represent CSUMB in the CSU statewide research competition, which was held in Fresno State this year. And I, along with 2 other students, we won second prize, and I won second prize in the category of engineering and computer science. And I'm going to actually be continuing this research with my faculty advisor, and our hope is to get these results that we got from the research to be published. And I want to finish up by acknowledging these people, Professor Jeffrey Shea and John Gibson, my faculty advisor, Dr. Satyanarayanan, who's been a great professor and mentor throughout my time here at CSUMB, the One User community who helped me in learning the One Simulator software, and of course my family members, my wife and family members who have always supported me. And if you have any questions, please come by and see me in room 160. I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.